back with another fun STEAM lesson for you this week. And this week we're going to be doing a STEAM activity about temperature. And I have two really fun activities here for you that have to do with temperature. And you guys, this first activity, you guys are going to be making your very own thermometer. And then we're going to be doing another project that's going to be talking about freezing point, and you guys are going to make your very own homemade ice cream in a bag, so stay tuned. But to get started, we have to talk about the meaning of temperature and what temperature is. Temperature is a degree of hotness or coldness that can be measured by using a thermometer. And now temperature can be measured in many different ways, such as Fahrenheit, Celsius, or Kelvins. And all three of those are just different scales that measure temperature. The thermometer is measuring how fast the atoms and molecules of a substance are moving. And the quicker they're moving, the hotter the material is, and the slower they are moving, the cooler the material is. So today we're gonna make our very own thermometer, and you're gonna see how when a liquid gets hot and the atoms and molecules move fast, it causes a liquid to expand, causing your thermometer to rise. And when a liquid gets cold, you'll see how the atoms and molecules move slower, and it causes the liquid in the thermometer to drop. So let's get started on our first project, which is making your own thermometer. To start off, the first supplies you're going to need is a clear, empty water bottle. Then you are going to need a straw. Clear straws do work best, so if you have a clear straw, that would be great. If not, you're going to be dyeing the liquid in your thermometer anyway, so you can see it through the straw as well. Then you are going to need, of course, some food coloring, so that way you can see your liquid in your thermometer. You're going to need some molding clay to go over the top of your water bottle to seal it off, so some molding clay. And then the last thing you're going to need is 1/4 cup of rubbing alcohol and 1/4 cup of water. Alrighty, so after you have all your supplies collected, you are going to take your 1/4 cup of water. So we have set it down, make sure you have 1/4 cup of water, and you're going to pour that into your water bottle. And then you're going to take your rubbing alcohol and you're going to do 1/4 cup of that and also pour that into your water bottle. And then you're going to choose whatever color you would like for your thermometer. So for mine, I'm going to do blue. You're going to pour that in there as well. And then I'm going to take my lid and just kind of shake it and stir it around until you have it all mixed together. Alrighty, after you have your solution all mixed up, you can go ahead and take off the cap of your water bottle. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your straw and your molding clay, and you're going to insert your straw so it is touching in the water, but make sure that it's not touching the bottom. You do not want it to touch the bottom. Then you're going to take your clay and you're just going to smush it around your straw so that has a nice seal, but leaving the top of the straw open. So this is what the top of it looks like. So it's not sealing the top of the straw, but it's sealing all the other areas in it. But it's still holding it up nice and strong, but it is not touching the bottom, as you can see. Alrighty, and after you have it all sealed up, you have your very own thermometer. So of course, now we have to test it out. And what I have here are just two clear bins. This one has some really hot water that I just boiled, and this one has some ice water. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna set it into the really hot water very carefully. And you're gonna let it sit there for about 15 minutes. And what will happen, and you will see this, is the water inside your water bottle, that is your blue color, your thermometer, is gonna get really hot also because it's in the hot water. And what it's gonna do is gonna cause those molecules and atoms to move really fast and expand. And what it will do is you'll see it will start to travel up your thermometer, causing it to rise. So go ahead and let it set, and we will check back in a couple minutes and see if our thermometer is working. Alrighty guys, so it's been about 15 minutes, and I did add a little bit more hot water in this. I didn't think I had hot enough before, so it does take some really hot water to do this activity. So make sure you're really careful when you're putting it in there. But look at our thermometer. You can see the blue liquid has traveled up the water bottle, and again, what that is those molecules and atoms in our solution in our thermometer, because we put it in something really warm, cause them to move really fast and expand and travel up our straw, causing our thermometer to rise. So now what we're going to do is we're going to transfer our thermometer from our hot water bin into our cold water bin, and we're going to pay attention to that liquid in there that is blue. See, it's almost all the way up to the very top, but what we're going to do now is we're going to transfer it into the cold and see what happens. So I'm lifting it up out of the water. But what happens when I put it into the cold water is it has dropped completely. So it was all the way up at the top in a really hot water, and then as soon as we took it out, it got kind of medium. And now that it is in the cold water, it is all the way at the bottom. So again, it's those molecules and atoms are not moving as fast, causing that liquid to kind of settle down at the bottom of our thermometer. So there is our first activity on how to build your own thermometer. Alrighty, well, I hope you had fun with that first activity on how to make your very own thermometer. Another thing you can do to test out your thermometer is take it outside and maybe leave it in the sunlight and see if you can get that temperature to rise. Depending on how sunny it is and how hot it is outside, you might get it to rise. And then leave it in the shade and see what happens in comparisons there. So yeah, have fun with it, be creative. And I still have another activity here for you about temperature, and it's one of my all-time favorite summer activities to do, especially when it's a super nice hot day outside, and that is how to make your very own homemade ice cream. So let's talk about the science behind that and get started. Okay, so for this activity, you're going to take your knowledge from what you learned about temperature and apply it to making some homemade ice cream. So for this activity, you're going to be using salt and ice to lower the temperature of your milk and sugar combination to form ice crystals and turn it into ice cream. So let's talk about how that works. So how this works is salt is used to melt ice, and that is why in the wintertime, people put salt on the roads to make them safer to drive. Now your ice cream mixture is going to be placed in a bag that is going to be placed in another bag that is going to be filled with salt and ice. And then when you shake the bags, it will cause the ice to mix with the salts, and this will speed up the molecules and atoms and cause it to melt. And that melting of the ice is going to make it really cold, because freshly melted ice is really, really cold water. And that cold water is going to be pressing against your ice cream mixture, and that cold water is going to slow down the molecules and atoms in your ice cream mixture, causing it to get cold and form ice crystals, which is going to make your ice cream, and it's going to make a super tasty scientific treat. First, you're going to need one sandwich size sealable bag. Then you're going to need 1 gallon size sealable bag, and the gallon size is what you're going to put your ice and your salt in, and the sandwich size is what you're going to put your actual ice cream mixture in. So for your ice bag, you're going to need about 8 cups of ice, and then you are also going to need some salt. So I have here, there is actual just ice cream rock salts. That will work. If all you have is like table salt at home, you can use that. It's going to take a lot more of it, so I would recommend going out and getting the ice cream rock salts. And then what you're going to need for your actual ice cream mixture is you're going to need 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then you're also going to need a 1/2 cup of half and half. And if you don't have half and half at home, you can also use milk or having whipping cream as a substitute. So for our first step, what we're going to do is we're going to make our ice cream mixture. So go ahead and open your resealable bag. And it might be helpful to have a parent or a sibling or hold the bag for you as you're putting the items in. But you're going to take your 1 tablespoon of sugar and put that in. And then next, I'm going to take my vanilla extract and put in my 1/4 teaspoon. go ahead and pour that in there as well. And then lastly for our mixture, I'm going to take a half a cup of half and half. And again, if you don't have half and half at home, you can just use milk, or having whipping cream will also work. So go ahead and pour that in. And this just makes one serving of ice cream. So if you're making this with family or friends, what I would recommend doing is make multiple of them, or upping the recipe. So then go ahead, after you put in all your ingredients, to make sure that your bag is sealed super tight. And what you actually want to do is make sure that you get as much air out of the bag as possible too. This will help prevent the bag from popping. You don't want your bag to open up or pop when you're mixing it around. So you want to make sure that you seal it tight and with as little air as possible. So there we go, we have our ice cream mixture all ready to go. So after you have your ice cream mixture all done and sealed up nicely, go ahead and fill your gallon bag with your 8 cups of ice. And I went ahead and I just filled it from my refrigerator right here. So I have my 8 cups of ice, and then you're gonna take a half a cup of your rock salts, and you're just gonna go ahead and pour that into the bag with the ice. And I just kind of mix around my salt to make sure that it gets on my ice. And then I'm doing, making sure that my bag is sealed really nice again. I'm just gonna set my bag into my bag of ice. I'm gonna take some of the ice and make sure that it gets on top of my bag. And then again, same thing that you did with your ice cream mixture bag, is take as much air out of it as you can, and you are going to seal it up really nicely. Just make sure it's sealed good and has as little air as possible in it. Alrighty, so after your bag is all nice and sealed up and has as little air in it as possible, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna put on any gloves or oven mitts that you have, and you're gonna begin shaking your bag for a whole 5 minutes. And it's gonna get really cold, that's why you wanna put on gloves if you have it. If not, you can take it outside where it's nice and warm to help warm up your hands also. But what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna shake it nonstop for 5 minutes so that the ice can melt, and your ice cream, you'll start to feel it set up. So keep doing it until you feel your ice cream bag become frozen and less of a liquid. So start your timer now and begin shaking. Alrighty, so it's been a little over 5 minutes now, and I can feel my ice cream bag, and it does not feel like a liquid anymore, so I think it is nice and frozen. So let's open it up and see if our ice cream is ready. Alrighty, so after you take your ice cream bag out of your ice bag, what you want to do is rinse it off a little bit and wipe it down to make sure that you have all the rock salt off of it. And then you can open it up and have your bowl and spoon ready, and just pour it in there. Alrighty, there we go. We have our very own tasty scientific treat here for you. I hope you had fun with today's activity and now have a better understanding about temperature. Hope you're enjoying your summer and enjoy your ice cream snack. I will see you again next week. Bye.